So I noticed I'm getting really bad at this. I get started on a project before I even start like recording anything. So if you guys watched my last video, it was this guy here. I replaced started to wrinkle up a little bit on edges, but I think I can fix that with the heat gun and pull it tight again. Anyway, I want to do the same thing up there on the dash. So I've started to disassemble this. So the panel that goes here on the bottom, it's 4 bolts. These guys take it off, disconnect your gas tank and your hood latch. I got some other wires going for my safety, the lock. I did a video on that to install that guy right there, which was a keyless entry, and it has like a little security light. And then these 3 are for my rock lights in the front, the little LED pods. Anyway, so those 4 bolts, boom, that comes out. And then the black piece that surrounds, or whatever color you got, I guess, the trim that surrounds your dash or your cluster is just a couple screws holding it in place. One of them's here, 2 of them in the top, 1 of them here, and then it just pops. It's got some pops to it. And then this one just pops out around your ignition. It just pops right off. And then of course the center console. I showed you guys that in the last video, how to take those off. This is that other panel I was talking about with the 4 screws. So I'm gonna paint all those black with this interior vinyl and fabric paint. I'm gonna do it all matte black. Same with the door panels on the bottom. I'm gonna wrap the top right there in the same material. And yeah, so I'm gonna keep going with this. This has got a couple more little bolts holding it in place. And then similar, this just pops. It all pops. Everything just pops. So I gotta get the dash off, and then all that over there, the glove box. So we'll just keep going here. To remove this glove box, there's 2 screws on the bottom right here that actually connect to that little subframe on the bottom there underneath the glove box. Once you do that, you pull the little lever, wow, unlatch it, take it down, and it'll just come right out, no problem. So we've got the dash out, we got the cluster out, we got all these components out that hold everything together. Now the glove box is out, so we got that. And now I think all that's left is just the entire dash piece. So we just have to look at that and see where it's connected up. I think it might be connected like down there, right there. I know for sure right there, obviously. And I think the rest are like pops like that back there. So I don't think that there's too much left as far as this dash goes. I think, yeah, we're gonna have to disconnect the center console pieces from this whole dash piece, and I think we'll probably unscrew these 2 guys too that are holding this unit on there. But other than that, I think we're about there. I think we got it all out for the most part. Okay, so we got the dash out, and the tricky side is that side, because if you're equipped with an airbag like I am, that little yellow connector right there is your airbag, so you have to disconnect that first and foremost so you don't pop your airbag. And then there's your airbag on the dash. So we have the dash out, it comes out all in one piece. So this is your airbag, and it connects with 2 bolts there, and it connects to that frame in there with these 2 12mm bolts. And it connects right up here. So at first I was trying to disconnect it from the dash, but I couldn't get my hand up in there for it. So instead I just took these 2 12mm out and took the whole dash out in one piece with the airbag. And then it makes it easy. I could just take the airbag out, clean everything up, and prep for paint, and that leather wrap that I was using for the center console, and I'm going to be using for the dash as well, so it should be good. And then as far as this top piece that I'll be wrapping, it's connected with these little metal tabs through. So if we straighten these out and just pull it out, 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 all these little tabs are holding it, this other panel in that will be taken off and wrapping. The rest of it will just be painted black. And then your heater duct you'll just have to put back together once you get it all back together. But you can see like why I'm doing this. It's kind of peeling up a little bit. And everything's good and great with that carpet cover that I have over it, but I'd rather just not use that carpet cover. So it's gonna be pretty sweet, I think, when we're done. See how it all turns out. All right, so like I said, all these little clips here are what holds in your panels that we're gonna be wrapping for the dash. And then this piece here is for the actual airbag. So it's held in with clips right here, and then 3 bolts in the top here. And then the clips go through there. So if the airbag pops, this kind of will just open up like a panel, you know, instead of your whole dash blowing out. So undid that, took out the air ducts and popped all these tabs straight. So we should be able to pull this thing right out now and start wrapping it with that vinyl. So I got all the pieces that I want to paint laid out, and I'm about to scrub them with that scrubbing pad. That way we can get them all roughed up and clean and all the little edges off so we can paint them ready for paint. We're going to paint them black. It's going to look sweet. Alright, so reason we use that little greeny pad or scrubby pad, right? I don't know if you can see that with the light, but it's scuffed up. Everything's scuffed up now. I'm ready for paint, so we gotta let this dry in the sun a little bit, those little parts, so we can get the painting. And then if we keep in mind, like this whole surface area right here doesn't need paint because it's being covered up with that dash that I'm covering in that vinyl, like fake leather. So if we can keep that in mind, we can save some paint. So all this is going to be black instead of the shit brown color that it usually is on these Toyotas. So changing it up. Got my helper scrubbing stuff for me.
Look, there's a little piece that's white.
Those are drying. We're gonna work this here. So as you can see, it's just a mess inside of there. So I cut the piece for the dash that we're gonna be using to wrap it with. So that's all cut to length of what we're gonna need. I cut a little extra over so we can overlap and everything. And the first step I'm gonna do is find like the smoothest, flattest spot to work with, because this curves up this way and then back over and down. So we wanna make sure we angle it right. So right now it's not exactly straight with it, it's kind of kicked over to an angle. So we're gonna glue it down like that, nice and smooth, and start working our edges. 2 key items that we're gonna need for this. One is a blade. Second is a heat gun. Right there. So those are the 2 things that we're gonna need for sure for this. And let's get started wrapping this. So the glue that we're gonna be using is this same stuff that I used on my center console. And what I like to do is I put the material upside down underneath what I'm about to spray, because you do need to spray the fabric as well as what you're working on here. You want to make sure you have a somewhat clean surface that you're working on so the glue adheres really well, and then you'll spray it down and just start gluing everything down and working it. So I'm not going to show too much of the process because I don't have a tripod, so I'm just going to tell you how I'm doing it, just like my other videos, and then work it from there. So I'm just going to spray the glue down, start wrapping around on the corners and things like that, or the edges where it wants to kind of like vein up and finger out. I'm just gonna use a heat gun and kind of like stretch it so it doesn't do those things. And then we'll glue it to the back, on the back side, and call it a day. I'll probably cut some slits or some holes for these tabs to go through so it makes it like really tight. And then, yeah, should look pretty good when we're done here. So this is where we're at now. After I laid the glue and laid it down, I flipped it over, right? And I cut about, you know, an inch or two away from the edge so we can get that wrap and get everything tight. Now the glue's sticking pretty well, but once we hit it up with the heat gun, it's gonna be able to allow us to peel this vinyl wrapping leather, whatever you wanna call it. It's gonna allow us to peel that off. And what that's gonna do, hang on, it's gonna give us the opportunity to get like these slight little wrinkles out and stuff, or where this fabric was folded. You can see right there, like where it was folded up. We'll be able to pull this up and then lay it down real tight and stretch it over the surface area, and then give it, you know, what it needs on the back side with the glue and everything to get it going. So that's what I'm gonna do now. I'm gonna get it wrapped up and then cut out the hole here for my ventilation, and go ahead and cut that and tuck that back in the back, so when we put that back in, everything's tight. But I think this is gonna work out pretty good. If it doesn't, we got a ton more of this stuff, so we can keep trying and give it another shot. And I got it at like the Hobby Lobby here, like this store, Hobby Lobby. I don't know if they got them anywhere other than California, but this is how much I paid for it. So it's always discounted there, like 30 or something % off. So they gave it to me for $6.99 a yard. I got 3 total yards of it, so it was 20 bucks, 21 bucks. So last time I did it with the center console, it was like 7 bucks, and I had this left over. So that's what I bought this time. This is what I have left over from last time. So yeah, so I'm gonna wrap this and get it. Okay, so we're all dry, and like I said, I'm using this stuff here. It's matte black. I'm hoping it's gonna match the vinyl pretty good. I took into effect where I had a choice between gloss or matte, so see which one fares out. So 2 things I hate doing is painting in the direct sunlight and painting in the wind. It's not too windy out today, it's not too bad, but it is in the direct sunlight, and I don't really have an option though, so we're gonna paint in the direct sunlight. So here we go. Let's lay down our. If you guys watched my emblem video when I painted my emblems on the 4Runner, it explains the process. It's the same process. So the first coat's the tack coat, and you can see it's very transparent. You know, you can still see the shit brown through it, and that's what you want. You want that first tack coat, so everything else will catch. Everything's transparent. You can't see. It's not a solid, thick coat. So that's what you want as your first coat. And then once you start laying down coats, you'll lay like a base coat, like a thicker coat later. And then your next few coats is going to be pretty thick. So I'm not going to do any kind of like clear coat or anything over this, because this specifically says like vinyl and fabric specialty coating, and it's got a flexible finish. So it's ideal for, you know, dashboards, door panels, whatever. So I'm not going to put any kind of coating over it. I'm just going to run straight this and then let it dry thoroughly overnight. So we're going to see how well this paint goes. So I'm going to lay down a few more coats, and then I'll show you guys what it looks like after. I just wanted to show you what a tack coat looked like. Alright, so this is just 2 coats, and it looks incredible. I'm thoroughly impressed with the way this is coming out on these things. I mean, see what it was and it is now, and that's 2 coats. It took me a whole can to do the tack coat, and then the full, you know, second coat. So I should be able to get, you know, 1 more coat out of this next can on all those pieces, and that should call it good. I shouldn't have any issues with it after that. So we'll see how it goes. I can use these random objects to hold my tarp down. It is a little windy out, so it's working out great though. It looks great. I'm a believer. I am a believer. I wasn't sure about this stuff, but I can dig it. And that's that. Oh, it's gonna look sweet. I think it's gonna match the vinyl very well. The only thing that I'm not digging too much is that this center console is gonna be black on black. Where I wanted to do like a black on gray type of theme and everything, but it's gonna be all right. I think it'll be fine because, like I said, all the pieces that are existing black, I said this in my other video, all the pieces that are existing black, that are these right here, I'm gonna either paint or vinyl wrap green. So one of the two. So we'll figure that out along the way, but everything looks sweet. And I just realized I left out one. So I'm gonna have to pull this little LED light out and paint this. So we're not done, but we will be. Okay, so we wrapped that in the vinyl. It's got a little glue on the top. We're just gonna have to clean it off. Some of these edges will shrink out, I think. Ended up wrapping that little panel for the, what do you call it? The airbag. And then everything else is black that's visible anyway. So we're gonna put the dash back in and then see what she looks like once she's all mounted up and everything. A couple things like this corner's kind of bugging me. It's a little wrinkled out, so we'll see how everything goes. I might end up putting that carpet back over, but we'll see. All the panels are good. I noticed a few spots where I missed some paint on them, so I had to redo them up in here. So thought that might be visible, so I just threw some more paint in there. But other than that, we're just gonna throw everything back together and then see what she looks like. And the dash is in. Oh man, it looks pretty good. Turned out sweet so far, anyway. So we have to get the rest of the pieces put together. I'm debating going and getting some green paint for like around the stereo and the pieces here for the e-brake and for the black piece around the dash. So debating it. I don't know, I might paint it tomorrow, see how that works out. I know we got pizza coming, so that's the important thing right now. Okay, day 2 on the interior. So this is pretty much where it's at from where we were at yesterday. These corners I'm gonna fix with a screwdriver once I get everything all down and some of these wrinkles. But for the most part, I think it looks awesome. And then these pieces are gonna go in. That one looks great. Turned out amazing. So that's pretty good. I want to swap this switch so bad because I can't stand that little blue light when you turn it on. But these guys, like I said, I think I'm going to paint them green. So I went to the store and got these guys. Perfect match. It's actually for Chrysler colors, but the Toyota one didn't look like it matched my paint as much as this one does. And it's hard to kind of see. But I think this Chrysler one actually, because this truck was repainted, it was black originally, you can see in the door jambs here. But I don't know if they use Toyota paint or what on this thing, but once it's actually like not covered in dust, I think it's a little bit better. But either way, I mean, green's green as long as it's not like super vibrant green. So I took the cup holder out. These are just 2 clips in the back there. Definitely need to clean that up. And in there, took that out, and then I just need to pop the vents out, pop out those little buttons, and then take these pieces off, and this piece will be ready to get cleaned up and ready for paint. So we should be good to go. I am gonna scrub these the same way I did the other ones, but I'm gonna prime them first, just with some of this primer. The reason I'm priming it is because I feel like it's black's a hardcover to cover up. And then if I prime it first, just to even a tack coat, it'll make the green pop a little bit better. And then I'm gonna clear coat these pieces. I didn't clear coat all the other pieces, but I'm gonna clear coat all the green ones to give them kind of a shine and actually look like trim. So I was gonna vinyl wrap them, but the problem I had with vinyl wrapping them was gonna be this whole big cavity right here. I figured that would be a pain in the ass to vinyl wrap all this face and inside of here. I didn't think I was gonna be able to get like all the vinyl down in there without wrinkling it up here and all that stuff. So I'm not doing all that. I'm just gonna paint it, and I think it'll look just as good. And I might start, I don't know, I'm debating popping these off and start working these, but I don't think so. I think for now we're just gonna work the center console and the dash, and then we'll do the door panels on a different video, because those door panels are gonna be actually kind of tricky the way that these three pieces here are put together. They're not just like screwed or snapped together. They're actually like a three piece, but they made it into a one piece, and it's just gonna be tricky, but I have an idea on how I'm gonna do it. So I'm gonna do it in a different video for all 4 door panels. And then, yeah, so I'm gonna get to popping all these pieces out and then cleaning everything up so it's ready for paint. Cool. All right, so these are all the pieces that are gonna be green, where the e-brake's at, where the shifter's at, around the radio and stuff, cup holder, around the ignition and around the dash, and that little blank insert. So just like the other pieces, we're gonna scrub it with the dish soap and those little scratch pads. So I'm gonna wet them down, clean them up real good, and get them scuffed up with that pad, and then we'll let them dry out in the sun and get them painted green. So I put a tack coat and a single coat of primer over all the pieces I want green. And I'm gonna let that dry for about, I don't know, maybe about 15-20 minutes in the sun, and then start going at it with the green. So see where we're at then. Alright, so I did the tack coat and the first coat of green, and it looks pretty sweet. It looks pretty color matched actually to the freaking 4Runner, so it's gonna be bitching inside of there. I think it's still gonna have that like black on black vibe, but I think it's gonna look good. We'll see how it looks when it's all thrown together. Alright, so 2 coats of clear coat later, and it looks incredible. It's gotta dry still, but look at that color. Looks awesome. A couple little imperfections. My son knocked something over on this piece, so it's got some marks in it, but I think it looks great. I can't wait till it dries and we can put it in there. So it's sitting in the direct sun. We'll see how long this takes to dry. It shouldn't take too long, but I think it's gonna look great around with all that black. I think the clear coat really did the trick and made it pop. Super excited about this. So we're gonna let this dry, and then we'll start reinstalling everything. All right, we got this piece in with the stereo and everything, and it looks incredible. Look at that. This piece up here is in. Holy cow. And I was totally gonna go with a lighter color, but my wife said, no, this is the one that's gonna match it. And I was like, yeah, all right. So she was right. She wins on this one, but it looks sweet.
And I win too.
And there's a little bit back there where some primer is showing through in there, but I don't think it's gonna be too noticeable. Look at that. That looks insane. All right. So I'm gonna put the rest of this stuff together, and I'll show you guys what it looks like. I just can't get over how good that's gonna look. Jesus. All right, folks. Super proud of this. Color of the car. Color of the 4Runner. Color of the dash. It looks just bitchin'. I did put the carpet back on. It looks so great. Oh my gosh. Center console and everything. Left those buttons black. It looks great though. Look at that. Couple spots in there I missed. Might line it with some, I don't know, some kind of rubber or something in there. You can see the primer through it, but for the most part, it's great. It's bitchin'. Looks incredible. So, appreciate you guys watching. Hope this helps if anybody's, I don't know, trying to color match their 4Runner or whatever to the interior, or just paint their interior in general. Again, thanks for watching.